The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, it's always hard when someone does side on the woke. Like, are you doing this because you think this, or are you doing this because you think it'll make people think more highly of you if you do it? It's such a contrived thing today. It's so difficult to figure out why people are acting the way they're acting. So when they were acting in that way, it was so transparent. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, they were pressured, and they were worried about the money. They were worried about economic, whatever.
The fallout.
Yeah, whatever fallout would happen.
Right.
It was really obvious. It was like, whoa, this is not like trans people using the bathroom. This is like, you guys are threatened.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the number of companies that have kowtowed to China's, orthodoxy is, there should be a list. Somebody should be keeping track of all of this. There are companies like Marriott, even like luxury brands. So I think Versace or Dolce & Gabbana got in trouble because I think on their website they listed like countries that were in, and it was like they put Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan.
That's
and
right.
China said, no, what are you doing? This is all China.
Right.
If you don't change that website, you're not going to be allowed to do business. And everyone wants a share of the Chinese market. That's the problem. It's like the biggest market in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe India's bigger, but, at least in the future, India will get bigger. But everyone wants access to Chinese market. So they're able to use that as leverage to basically bully companies, even movie execs, to produce the content they want. So I think World War Z was affected, and the other movie was Doctor Strange, the Marvel movie, where the character played by Tilda Swinton was supposed to be a Tibetan monk. But you can't, like, Tibet is this, like, hot button issue for China, right? Like, people have been fighting for independence for a while. The Dalai Lama was exiled. So they changed the character. It wasn't a Tibetan monk. They changed it to a Celtic monk. And they made it to be a woman playing the character instead to appease the Chinese government.
So they changed it in the American version as well?
Yeah.
So that woman wasn't
the American
supposed
version
to be,
is
right.
Because the studios, they're all going in on these deals with China. China's financing all these movies now.
Wow. So that woman in Doctor Strange was initially supposed to be a Tibetan monk, supposed to be a male.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they rewrote it to reflect a Celtic female monk. Yeah.
Whoa.
And then I think the Top Gun, the movie that's coming out with Tom Cruise too, partially financed by China, and they have these like his jacket. People noticed that there was a patch that was like missing, and it turns out like that patch, it was like for some reason China was just triggered by it, and it was gone. Like
so
between the Top Gun 1 and
it?
Top Gun. No, it just in the costume.
Oh,
wasn't there.
This is it.
Yes.
What was the problem? Was it Japanese flag?
That's the Taiwanese flag, the red and blue. Yeah, the USS Galveston. See, it's
wow.
But that's what makes it so scary that they're able to pressure people to change their behavior from afar without no bullets. This is just
money.
There's just access.
Whores.
Chinese market. I know.
So many whores.
But that's why I think like one of the solutions to this is to really like start. I don't know. Somebody should really start a website. Maybe it should be me. To just track all this stuff. All the companies that have are kowtowing to China. All the ones who are standing their ground, And so you can decide where to put your money.
So it's just a giant part of the market. That's the problem with these films. It's probably the Top Gun over in China. First of all, China invests, and then they sell those movies over there, and it's an enormous part of their overall budget, right? How much money comes in?
In terms of the box office, outside of the United States, the second largest market is China. The third one is Japan, and it's
That's
like
crazy.
1/5 of China, basically. So it's not nowhere close. And we're all driven by profits. It's capitalism.
I think they tried to get Quentin Tarantino to change his movie for China. They told him to go pound sand.
I think so. I remember. Yeah. Was it the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
The new one. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's weird that it's that easy. Just throw some money around and people will change their culture.
Right. I mean, Google was developing a search engine for China.
I knew some people at Google while that was going on, and their position was, if we don't do this, they're going to copy our search engine and just steal all the intellectual property. or we can work with them and provide a censored version of Google. And I
Right.
remember sitting there going, this is almost like legalizing drugs. Like, it's messy. There's no good way here. They both suck. Like, it sucks if they steal, the intellectual
Yeah.
copyright, if they steal the ideas and create their own version of Google. It also sucks if Google goes over there and self-censors
Right.
and provides them with, the ability to filter out information.
But I think also that if there's also an argument that if it was Google, at least maybe they have one tentacle in China, and so therefore it might be able to change things or keep a pulse on, have their pulse on
Yeah.
something. There's the argument.
Well,
I
at
don't
least
know.
they blocked Huawei, or I shouldn't say at least, but it's interesting that they blocked Huawei from using all of their apps. So Huawei no longer has apps. They no longer have access to the Google Play Store. So
Oh.
their new phones, they have to have their own apps.
Really?
Yes, this is with the Mate P. I think it's P40. I think it's what it's called. Their latest flagship phone. They don't have access anymore. There's some apps you can sideload from the web, and you can download them directly to your phone. But for the most part, their access to the Google Play Store is completely shut off. So the thousands and thousands of apps that feel like for a lot of people, apps are everything. It's not the phone
Yeah.
itself; it's the
Yeah.
apps. If you don't have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and whatever the equivalents are in different countries, you're kind of shit out of luck.
But I think reciprocity is a good policy to abide by, right? So if China can influence us, if you want, because the Chinese, they always use their market as like, we'll shut you out of our market if you don't do this. Well, we should be doing the same.
Right.
Which I think is what Trump had tried to do with the tariffs. We're going to shut you out of our market. We're going to penalize you
Yeah.
unless you open up some things. You've been, there have been unfair trade practices for a while.